Okay, a bit of a wild ending here to the Lions-Vikings game. I'm going to start it off right here, where you see the Lions are just running the ball, trying to kill some clock as they're up 5 points with 6 minutes left. So still some game here, but, Lions are feeling good, up 5 with the ball. Until this happens, a fumble by David Montgomery, the Vikings pick it up, and they go all the way for a touchdown, and the flag was on the offense, so out of nowhere, a game that the Lions felt really good about. We're up 2 scores. Both teams were actually up multiple scores at a certain point in this game. But you see again, this was the punch out, and just like that, now Detroit's in trouble, and their first drive wouldn't be very good. I mean, it's going to be, actually before we get to the first drive, we have to go here. So this is actually a really important play in the game, as it turns out. It's a 1-point lead for the Vikings. They want to make it a clean 3-point lead. Darnold takes the snap. You see that he's going to... It's kind of just one of those quick throws, but really wasn't a competitive ball right there by Darnold. And again, it's a 2-point attempt, right? So as long as you don't throw an interception for a touchdown, it's fine. And the interception doesn't even count against your stats. So you would like to see him give his receiver a bit more of a chance there. If you're a Minnesota fan, that means that a field goal given up wouldn't just tie the game, it would lose the game for the Vikings. But on the Lions' next drive, Goff might have made 2 or 3 bad plays in this game, and they were both on this drive. First, this missed throw, which the receiver actually still caught it, but was not able to stay in bounds because the throw was a bit high. That's probably a touchdown if Goff does what he usually does and throws that one just a little bit closer towards the middle of the field. I think that, that's definitely one he would like to have back. And then on the 3rd down and 6, the pressure is going to get to Goff right here, and he actually throws the ball backwards, and that's another huge play in the game. The offensive lineman falling on the football right there. That's really good stuff, because had he not done that, if the Vikings recovered, that might change how this whole game is played. But now let's go over here. So it's a 3rd down and 4. They're going to have Sam Darnold roll out here in this situation, which makes sense, right? I mean, let's throw the ball. Let's play aggressive here. Totally understand it. But when Darnold looks over, I mean, again, it's an uncompetitive ball. That ball doesn't go to either of the receivers, kind of split the difference between them, had 2 options and wasn't able to give either of them a chance. And because of that, again, you're in a situation where now you have to give the ball back to the Detroit Lions over 2 minutes, and the Lions have multiple timeouts. The Lions have plenty of time, only needing to get into field goal range. And what do you think they're going to do? In an instant, the Lions are able to march down the field. They, get this play that's going to give them a double-digit gain that gets them on the outside of field goal range, and this one gives them easy field goal range. They made the decision to just start kneeling out the clock right here because the Vikings only had 2 timeouts, so there's only 19 seconds left. Ideally, you usually like to have a little bit less than that, right? Usually like to kick these with 3 seconds left, have it just be the final play of the game. But the Lions figured, you know what? More things could go wrong than go right by continuing to run plays, so let's just kick the field goal here. I think I agree with the decision. But now we got to talk about Jake Bates, the undrafted free agent kicker who was actually a 2023 draft class, although he, of course, went undrafted. The Lions decided to take a chance on him this season, and he's been perfect up until this point. But, of course, this is the biggest field goal he's had to make this season, 44 yards. Not the, in terms of difficulty down the field, I'm sure he could make these 100 out of 100 times in practice, but when the game's on the line, it's just tougher to make. However, watch him make this. A Vikings player actually jumped over the line, but wasn't enough to disrupt Bates. Bates makes the field goal to give them the lead. But again, as I mentioned, the game isn't over. We now move over here. Just 15 seconds left in the game for the Minnesota Vikings, trying to figure something out. And, crazier things have happened, right? Even if you can't get in field goal range, can you get in Hail Mary range? Just try for something here. Well, they're going to do something a bit odd. First, Darnold's going to take the snap. It just takes too long on this play. I mean, you see the Lions don't rush anybody. I mean, they have one player kind of rushing, but really nobody. I mean, they're putting everyone back. It's a difficult situation for Darnold. What do you do? Well, he waits and finally throws over the middle, but he waited too long, I think, to do that, because you look, pausing it right here, there's only 6 seconds left. This just isn't enough time. Yes, you're over the middle of the field, and you could try a Hail Mary from here, but there isn't enough time. Watch, you see, they do try, they go up, and they actually do a really good job at doing this quickly. The issue, I pause it right here, they did get the spike off with 1 second left. That's why I wanted to pause it here. The issue, they did not have a legal formation right here That isn't just a penalty, but it also carries a 10-second runoff to make sure that you don't just do it, illegally and get the 5 yards. There has to be some sort of punishment. It's a 10-second runoff. That means that the game is over. And look at Jared Goff and Dan Campbell's reaction. They're pumped up. They're on top of the division now. The 5-1 Detroit Lions back where they belong, it feels like, as the team that's leading the division. It's crazy how far they've climbed, right? We're talking about them as, back being the division leaders, as we all expected. Lions, vibes are high, and the Vikings, I think, are still fine despite a tough loss here.